So, Kitchen Table Tarot. Let me get. There we go. So, as a person who's read a lot of tarot meaning books, pull up a chair, shuffle the cards, and let's talk tarot. So, as a person who's read a few I guess there are a lot of what I have is classified as beginner books. A lot of the information is very similar to every other book or site that you can get this information from. So, chapter 1 is getting started. So, she has a list of basic decks, and then a little later on, more of a diverse list of decks, readings and spreads. So, in every other book, there's a section of reading and maybe one or two spreads. Chapter 2, so care and keeping of your tools. So, have to take care of yourself long before even doing a reading, so she has that. And as well as the cards. So, I can't recall seeing there's mentions of taking care of yourself, be in the right headspace, and all this. But she does have that section of you have to be good with yourself and not bring in your shiz to readings if you're doing readings for other people. Chapter 3, Ethics of Reading, which is a whole chapter. I have seen people briefly cover it as subsections in chapters, but she has a whole chapter of ethical reading. Chapter 4 is the Major Arcana, so she has the card and a line. So, example would be the Magician 1, I am doing, High Priestess, I am knowing, and that goes on through the Major Arcana. So there's a description of the card and the upright interpretation. It's she describes the card and she has the upright interpretation in that one chunk, and then she has inverted meaning. So not a lot of people like doing inverted cards, but a lot of people do have that in their readings. So if you're not huge on doing inverted readings, there is that in the book. So if that's a ride or die kind of thing, I don't know. So chapter 5 is the minors. So you got, so it's the pip cards. So you got, starts off with the core cards and elements information, and then it goes ace, 2, 3. It does all the aces together, 2s together, 3s together, and so on. And again, if you like having all the aces or 2s and 3s together, there's that. But if you like seeing ace, 2, 3, ace, 2, 3, ace, 2, 3 for in each own suit, this doesn't have it, so it might not be your book. It's similar to the Major Arcana, it just doesn't have that line, and it's a little less, there's a little less interpretation / description of the card. And then chapter 6 is the minor, where it covers the core cards, and they're grouped together like the other minor, so all the queens, kings, and whatever together. And and then there's a section on professional reading, talks about being a reader. And then you got about giving readings, and she gives a little short thing about reading being weird. And then you got a very brief, not huge conclusion. The weird reading could have been in the conclusion, so it didn't need to be its own tiny chapter. There's recommended readings at the end, and it's similar interpretations to other books that I've read. And so It's quick, it's easy to go through, so it's just here's the information, where other books like, oh, let's do an exercise or whatever. But this is just, here's in the interpretations, it's quick. Kitchen table tarot, so kind of like could be a living room kitchen table book, really quick. So Kitchen Table Tarot by Melissa Cynova. Happy readings.